So welcome everyone to ECOP Conversations. We are back and we are talking to early career ocean professionals about what they're studying, what they're working in at the moment, how that relates to ocean sustainability and the UN Decade of Ocean Science, and if they can offer any advice, any insights into the challenges or achievements that they might have faced throughout their career. So we are heading over to Mafalda. Mafalda, thank you so much for being here. Would you introduce yourself to everyone and also let us know where you're from, where you're based now, if this is different, and what you're working in or on in respect to the ocean?
So my name is Mafalda Isidro. I'm originally from Portugal and I'm starting my PhD next month. So my PhD will be in marine science at KAUST in Saudi Arabia, where I'll be studying seaweed ecological applications in the Red Sea. So I hope to use applied ecology to help mitigating human and climate change impacts using seaweeds.
Amazing. And so seaweed is a hot topic in ocean sustainability at the moment. But before we go there, I just wanted to come back to how you ended up working in this area. Where did you grow up? What was your experiences with the ocean? How did they shape your career path?
I've always wanted to become a marine biologist, and I think that came from my parents taking me to aquariums and buying me lots of books that were focused on the ocean, and that really started my passion for the ocean. Initially, I wanted to work with dolphins, but I ended up working with seaweed. Is due to me being involved in lots of different research groups. I ended up working in a lab where their main focus was seaweed ecology, and I was helping the student with his project. And he was telling me about his experiences diving in seaweed in kelp forests, and that really started my passion for seaweeds. And I started reading more about the topic, and I ended up doing my final project in the same lab. And then since then, yeah, I've always worked with seaweed, and I think it's definitely an organism that needs more attention, and people need to know about the benefits and their value that they have to the ocean, but also to us.
Yeah, and what is it that you really love about seaweed, and what should people pay attention to? Because I feel like at the moment we have these two threads, like seaweed is going to save the ocean and it's going to be a real ally in mitigating climate change. And then we also have these harmful blooms, which are really impacting blue tourism. So it's not completely black or white, and it's quite so what do you have to say about that?
I think everything that is in excess is bad, and this blooms of seaweeds, they always have happened, but the problem is that we are seeing them more frequently, and that's the issue. And that is mostly due to human activities, but also to climate change. So more research needs to be done towards that and understand what are triggers these blooms. And also educating people about this, because not everything is bad. Some of these events have always happened. As I said, the problem is that they're happening more frequently.
And on that note, so you say more research needs to be done. Tell us, how are you getting involved in the research in this area? And you said you're going to Saudi Arabia to do your PhD. Can you share how you managed to get this position as well? Because not everyone who's an early career professional is working towards research, but quite a lot of people are in this area, and quite a lot of people struggle to make that leap. And it's an amazing achievement. So congratulations.
Thank you. So what I would advise people, and so how I found about this opportunity was from a friend from my master's. She had went to the same university to do an internship, and she had told me about that it was a great experience for her to get involved in research and experience different lab and how different people work. So I applied and I got accepted for an internship. So while I was there, my supervisors offered me a PhD and I decided to go for it. So my advice is really to talk to people about your interests. And I know that if you're interested in seaweed, I know that already sounds quite a niche topic, but it's not. You can go so many ways. And as you said, it's an up and coming topic. So you can work in industries from biotech, aquaculture, academia. There are so many ways that you can go about it. But yeah, talk to professors, talk to other classmates. If you go to conferences, try to talk to people, say what you're interested about, and see if they know about something or if they're offering something. I personally have found very helpful to follow companies and research groups on LinkedIn or Twitter because they normally post their opportunities. And also, it's always good to see what is happening in the area that you're interested. So for sure, social media can really help you have an idea of what's happening and if there are any that you can be involved with.
Yeah, exactly. It's just being ready for those opportunities. So before your PhD, can you tell us some of the places that you went, or where have you experienced the underwater world of seaweed? And also in that, did you experience any challenges or anything that you found quite difficult as an early career ocean professional?
Yeah, I'm very grateful that studying marine biology and seaweeds have taken me to a lot of different places during my master's. So I did an international master's, and because of that, every semester I was able to go to a different university and a different country, and that was really amazing. Where I studied seaweeds during my master was in Ireland, where I did an impact assessment of seaweed harvesting on the macroinvertebrate community. And that also have taken me to Namibia, where I was working with Kalpulu, which is an aquaculture farm. And then in Saudi Arabia, where I was studying nutrients using seaweeds and their stable isotopes to study nutrient influxes in coral reefs. And that's going to be the continuation of my PhD. So I'm going to continue working on this project that I was working there as an intern.
And is it hard to travel to all these places, or is it part of the love of doing this research and kind of following the thread of the ocean, taking you to one place,
Yeah.
to another place?
I personally really like traveling. So for me, it's amazing to have the opportunity to live in these places at the same time as studying what I'm truly passionate about. It can be quite tiring moving all the time, but I feel that if you like the work that you're doing and the team that you're working with, I think it can be an amazing experience. So I recommend people to go and see different ecosystems in other places because every place is different. And it's amazing how I've experienced things underwater that maybe if I had stayed in Portugal, I would have never seen. In Namibia, we were diving and a seal just appeared and started swimming with us. In the Red Sea, I was able to see hammerhead sharks swim with turtles. So yeah, if I stayed in Portugal, I've never would experience this. So for sure, I would recommend people to get out of their comfort zone because it's not only good for your career, but also for yourself.
Amazing. You mentioned a little bit about the biodiversity that you've experienced in the ocean. Is this something that you're really passionate about? Because you said in the beginning you always wanted to be a marine biologist. So is this how the studies around seaweed relate to your passion, like the basis of this ecosystem coming from the macroalgae? Is this something that you are thinking about in terms of the future? You want to be working in this area to help the ocean maintain biodiversity.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I think sometimes we forget about the base of the ecosystems. And if we have a healthy foundation, let's say it like this, we will have a healthy ecosystem and biodiversity. Normally, how I go about to explain this to people is in the same way that coral reefs or tropical forests can be a safe haven for organisms. We function exactly in the same way. So it's really important that we protect this ecosystem of seaweeds and just the organisms itself so we can have a healthy ecosystem and loss of biodiversity, and as well a healthy marine environment.
So important. And so how long will you be in Saudi Arabia for? Is it
Yeah, so we'll be between 3.5, 4 years.
Wow, so you're going deep into the research now. How can people stay in touch with what you're doing? How can people find out about your work? And also maybe linked to that is, how do you communicate about your work? You just mentioned what you say to people. Is there any other ways that you're communicating your scientific research to people?
During my PhD, I'm hoping to put some posts on LinkedIn updating people about the research that I'm doing. So you can follow me on that and connect with me. And yeah, just I feel that it's very important just to speak about it, because I feel the idea that people have of seaweeds is very negative because they think that they're slimy and smelly. So for me, I really want to change that opinion of people. So talking to them, and I hope that with the post that I'll be putting out there, that this perception of people will change. Hopefully, I'll contribute to the development of and to the education of seaweeds and the importance of these ecosystems.
And because you're also working with coral reef, right? It feels like the public perception of coral reef is like, oh, wow, this is so beautiful. And there's all these colors and different species. And then everyone's like, seaweed, it's
Yeah.
not nice. So did you ever feel this way about seaweed, or were you always into seaweed? Did you always think it was quite cool?
I think I only started really paying attention to when I started university, because before I never really paid attention to them, I think. But then at university, after I started studying seaweeds, I remember just being at the beach and analyzing them. I hope that seaweeds get more into the mainstream media so people can start giving the value that they deserve. Because if we don't know about something, we are not going to care about it. We are not going to want to protect it, right?
Well, it's such a multi-purposeful species as well. There's so many cool bioplastics being made from it now. You can eat it. It's biodiversity. So it's really doing a lot of functions. So it's something that we really need to give some more respect to, but also understand, because there's the other side of the things. Are there any resources that you could recommend to people to learn more about seaweed? Any books or websites or companies that might be good if someone's like, oh, actually, I'd be interested in learning more about seaweed and maybe seeing if I could get experience in this field? Is there anywhere you suggest for people to go?
Following companies and research groups on LinkedIn and Twitter, as I mentioned before, I think they're a great resource. Because normally people share some updates about what's happening and what work they're doing, and as well they're sharing some basic information and some interesting facts about seaweeds. That's papers on the topic could also be a good way to go about it. You don't need to understand everything that is on a scientific paper, and just maybe doing research on Google and type just import information that you want to know about it. And I'm sure that it will take you somewhere that you are able to learn more.
Yeah, researching how to research is part of the research. Definitely what helps, I think, with me in the past, if I know that there's a subject that I like, I look at that scientific paper and I look at the institute where they did the research, and then I kind of go there. So
yeah, that's a good way as well.
Yeah, and also there's The Seaweed Revolution by Vincent Dumizel, if I said his name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. This is also a great introduction to the complexity of seaweed, how it can potentially save our future. So I don't know if you're on board with that, but I think you're dedicating quite a lot of your life to seaweed and researching it. So I think you must be proud.
I am. I will contribute to the knowledge that we have of seaweeds, and my work will make a difference in the world. Yeah.
Amazing. So thank you so much for joining us and talking about your work. And we look forward to keeping an eye on what you're doing in Saudi Arabia, and definitely stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.